The conservation through commerce is a philosophy that basically wildlife needs to have a value. And there's a lot of people that don't like that. They think that wildlife is going to exist on its own in a vacuum. And what history has shown us and facts has shown us is that doesn't happen. If that animal doesn't have a value, the native population or a Texas rancher is not going to raise it. And if there is, it's amazing. Those animals are protected, they thrive. So this ranch for hundreds of years was used for goat and sheep. Now we raise endangered species on it. The hunting side of the business, which is really a management tool that we use to keep the herds in balance with the habitat, to keep those herds healthy. So that's where the hunting piece of it comes. And it just so happens that that is what generates the revenue that allows us to do the conservation projects.
The profit comes from the hunting, the ethical hunting of these animals, the managed hunting of culling the older male, the male who is no longer reproductively, important to the herd anymore. He's been kicked out. We can cull that male off and we can take those funds and we can use those funds for much bigger and more important projects.
So our conservation side of our commitment, we're involved with several organizations, including Exotic Wildlife Association and Second Art Foundation, where we're literally taking animals that have been raised throughout Texas, and the largest populations left on the planet Earth are here, and we're now starting to ship those animals back to their native lands.
We're doing a Dama Gazelle collaring project. We've got 20 Dama Gazelle out in the pasture. They've all got collars on them. We've taken blood samples from all of them. And that project, what we're doing is there's an effort to take Dama Gazelle, who are now almost extinct in their native lands in northern Africa, and they want to take Dama Gazelle from Texas and try to reestablish and repropagate a herd into northern Africa so that they are sustainable and viable, and that people can go to northern Africa in their native lands and see them. Well, the collars cost money, the blood samples that were sent off to the Smithsonian cost money, it all costs money. All that money comes from the ethical, managed hunting of the older males on this ranch.
So, as that conservation energy expanded, that's really what expanded the number of species that we took on. So we went from the normal Texas common species to these more rare and exotic species. And then, of course, Cole, my son, who is in charge of all of that, every 2 weeks he's calling him up, Dad, we got to get this. We got to save this. We've got to make this happen. And it's hard to tell him no when that's the argument that he's using.
The Morani River Ranch is a very exceptional ranch when it comes to species, because there are very few ranches that even hold a candle to the wind to us. We have over 80 species on the ranch currently, and they come from every continent on the planet except Antarctica.
And 16 of them that are identified as endangered, threatened, and several of them that are literally extinct. They no longer exist in their native populations, but the largest population left is here in Texas, and we're helping to create what we call a source population. It's almost like a seed vault. It's a source population of those animals that someday in the future, when their native lands, whatever's going on there, become more stable and we're able to ship those animals back, we will have them to ship them back. And the other thing about this ranch is our staff is fully engaged in staying around. They're fully engaged in supporting this operation. They live on the ranch. They're passionate about conservation. These are people that live here that are professionals that aren't just interested in the money. This is a lifestyle. This is a commitment, and that conservation is a big piece of that. Conservation through commerce has been proven throughout the world as a fundamental and successful model for the propagation of species, for the protection of species. And where that happens, and you can engage, native indigenous people or Texas ranchers, either one, in a value proposition to take care of those animals, they get protected and they thrive and they grow. And so Morani's really set up around that foundational and factual result of conservation, and it works. I mean, we show it every day.